Hey everyone, happy Friday and welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So if you saw the thumbnail for today's video, then you already know what I'm going to talk about here. So the 58 Vert is officially alive. Did the last few things and I'll go over those in a little bit of detail and pretty much fired it right up. So let's actually fire it up very briefly because I've got the door closed at the minute. I don't want to asphyxiate myself here. However, see how easy this thing starts. Give it just a wee bit of choke. Boom. There it is. Back off on the choke a little. Yeah, thing fires right up. Sounds pretty smooth. Revs nicely. All that good stuff. Sounds good, actually. It's got kind of a throaty sound to it. Anyway, let me shut that off before I die of carbon monoxide poisoning. There we go. Okay, I'm still alive. So, yeah, pretty much just taking care of all the little things that needed to be done to, start this thing. One of the first that I did was actually go and add fuses to the fuse boxes, plural. I hadn't done that before, so went ahead and added them all to the main fuse box. And then on these cars, earlier cars, there's this little fuse box up here for the headlights. Got a cover on it, but yeah, I went ahead and added all the fuses. I tested a bunch of the electrical. Everything I checked so far works. The horn sounds a little wonky and like very quiet. I think it just needs to be adjusted, or the horn itself may be bad. I don't know any history of that horn since we didn't really build this car, from the start. Just kind of finishing up. But anyway, yeah. So put in the fuses, checked out some electrical, made sure the starter was doing its thing, and then. They didn't have the clamps that hold the heater boxes or J-tubes to the muffler, so those clamps right there, went ahead and put those on to get the exhaust all, sealed up. Went through and also went ahead and adjusted the shift lever there, popped off the cover back here, and not surprisingly, they didn't have any safety wire on the shift coupling. So went ahead and safety wired the shift coupling there, so that is not going to work itself loose. And let's see what else. So it did start initially, and then it stopped starting. And something was weird going on with the distributor where it wasn't, when the points were closed, which is when it should create a ground circuit. It wasn't. I don't know what was going on. The points when they were closing, they weren't grounding out the coil. I don't know what was going on. Anyway, so took that apart, cleaned it a little bit and stuff, and made some little adjustments in there, and got it back together, and that took care of that. So it fires up every time now. What else? Just cosmetically, after I got it started and was playing around with it, the cover on the generator, on the voltage regulator, was just like the CAD plated color. So I went ahead and pulled it off, cleaned it up, prepped it, painted it nice gloss black, and then put the little red dot of paint on it there. And I also cleaned up the motor. The motor was just dirty. This car is, I think, sat in many different shops over time, maybe over years, I'm not sure. Just lots of dust and dirt. So blew it out with the air hose real good, and then went over it with the microfiber cloth. It cleaned up really nice. I'm actually really happy with how this motor looks, other than all the stuff that's gold zinc plated, which again is not correct for this car, but it's not terrible. It's not strictly speaking correct, but as long as the owner likes it, then there you go. But motor sounds great, runs great, starts up great. So that was kind of my big accomplishment for the day there. Back to the wiring, I noticed that the the wipers were not working, and I just forgot to run a power wire from the fuse box to the wiper switch. So easy fix there. put that in and hooked it up, and the wipers seem to be working. Still need to put the actual wipers on, but the motor does its thing. Another little thing, the spare tire, I went ahead and removed the paint from the lug surfaces in case they ever actually use their spare, then it's safe. I had previously done that to all the other wheels. And then somehow, I don't know, I think this front apron or front clip has been replaced. It didn't have the little clips that normally hold the headlight wire as it runs across there, so I put in some little clips there just to hold the wire bundle as it runs over to the passenger side headlight, rather than just leave that flopping around in there. We don't like to leave things flopping around. So yeah, secured that. And then just some other little details here. I got rid of the zip ties, and in their place I put some cloth style electrical tape, so you can see a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. It looks more factory. Zip ties, of course, would completely not be factory. So, but I kind of like to have the wires bundled nicely like that. So yeah, cloth covered electrical tape, boom, looks like it could have come from the factory like that. So yeah, the wiring up here is done as far as I know. Everything seems to work. So, yeah, this car really doesn't need a whole lot more. Again, Jacob and I bled the brakes the other day. They seem to work great. Haven't driven it yet, of course, but I have no reason to suspect that the brakes won't work great when we go to drive it. The main thing, the biggest thing I think that I still need to do is I need to cut off the hinge welded to the floor for the throttle pedal. I think I mentioned this the other day. Somebody welded it to the floor about 1.5 inches too far back that way, and there's no way to make it work. So I got to cut that off and then prepare the floor in that area and then weld a new hinge to the floor. So I've got all that stuff right there, just a matter of doing it. So that's probably the biggest thing that's left on here. I do need to order a steering wheel still. I think Koch's has those in stock. Probably go ahead and order that Monday. So I think other than the throttle pedal and the steering wheel, obviously, you know, test driving it, doing any fine tuning, I think this baby is about done, actually. They wanted it by the end of the month, end of August, and so we will easily be making that goal unless, you know, something drastic happens when I go to drive it. And only other thing is I may have to re-index the rear suspension, but I have a suspicion that it's going to settle some once the car is driven, but we shall see. I actually did a couple minor things on this beauty this morning. One of which is installed the body to heat exchanger hoses on both sides there. I had previously cleaned those up and painted them more or less the correct color. So yeah, put those on. Put the little U-clips on the where the brake hard line and the soft line meet each other there. Hadn't done that previously. Let's see. I feel like there might have been something else I did on here. Oh, I know. The other thing that I did was add his fuel line from the chassis to, you can barely see it, kind of hidden back there. But yeah, added the fuel line from the hard line that goes to the pump up to the, you're not going to be able to see it because this heater hose is in the way. But yeah, anyway, fuel line's all plumbed in now on the back of the car. Front of the car, again, I'm going to wait until we finish the brakes and bleed them before I put in the gas tank. Just easier to have access to everything there and, you know, check for leaks and stuff like that. And then the gas tank will go in, and once the brakes are done and bled, and then this one also is going to be pretty close to being done. So yeah, we're going to be finishing up maybe a couple cars this month. Probably this one and this one at least. This one's done, just kind of waiting on the owner to figure out what he's going to do, the devil bus. I did get drums for this one, which is one thing that was kind of holding me up from doing the brakes. Got those from Eddie at Eddie and Dave's Garage, or BBT, which of course always makes very high quality stuff. So I still need to clean those, paint them, and then install them, adjust the back brakes, and then we can go ahead and bleed this brake system. So I believe that would be it for today, everyone. I will be in tomorrow for my usual Saturday kind of short day, probably about 3 or 4 hours. I'll try and post up a day in the life video tomorrow, whatever it is that I end up working on. And so I will see you guys then. So in the meantime, hope everyone has a great Friday night, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.